Kaleo. Yorùbá màmá yín ló tún yọ sí ní ìrọ̀lẹ́ yìí o. A kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta. Ẹ má bínú pé ó pẹ́ ní díẹ̀. Ètò àwọn ìwé tuntun fún àwọn ọmọdé ara ìpele Moyo àti Kanu alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni mò ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́. Òun ló jẹ́ kí ó dàbí pé ẹ̀rù ojú mi fúnjọ́ mélòó kan. Lénìí mo fẹ́ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn àṣìṣe 5 tí àwọn òbí máa ń ṣe tí a bá fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ ní Yorùbá àbí èdè míì. Nítorí mo fẹ́ kí ó wúlò fún àwọn tí wọn ò gbọ́ Yorùbá náà, mo máa sọ Yorùbá àti Gẹ̀ẹ́sì nínú fọ́nrán tí mò ń ṣe yìí. Àṣìṣe àkọ́kọ́, the first mistake that parents make when they're trying to teach their children an indigenous language is that they assume that they don't know enough. But that should never be a detriment. You can always start from the level that you know. And believe it or not, you'll pick up a lot more as you teach. The act of teaching is also usually an act of learning. So as you teach, you learn more and you pass on more. So even if it seems like you don't know, maybe you only have 40% knowledge, just to put it in those terms, try and pass on that 40%. Challenge yourself. If you pass on half of what you know, if you pass on even a quarter of what you know, your child will be better off for it. They'll go from a place of 0 knowledge to at least a place of 10% knowledge, and you will keep growing, they will keep growing. Àṣìṣe àkọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Àṣìṣe kejì ni pé a máa ń fẹ́ kọ́ wọn ní gbogbo nǹkan pọ̀. We always want to teach them everything at once. We're too ambitious at the start. We're trying to teach a child a language. You at the same time want to teach vocabulary, you want to teach grammar, you want to teach pronunciation. You have to pick your battles. And the first place I would advise for you to start is vocabulary. Let them pick up as many words, however random as they can. And then after that, you can start teaching the grammar. I usually will reserve the pronunciation for the last step, and that is the method that I tried with both my children, and it worked perfectly fine. We're still working on some aspects, we're still working on grammar, we're still working on pronunciation. However, they have a solid bank of Yoruba vocabulary, which you see them exhibit from time to time. Àṣìṣe kẹta, the third mistake, is they do not forgive their own inability to acquire the speaking habits quickly. So, a lot of the time, the reason why your child is speaking English to you is because you're falling out of the habit of speaking Yoruba to them, and hence teaching them. Also, most likely you're falling out of the habit of thinking in Yoruba. And in our day-to-day interactions with our children, we're often very quick about it. It's very instinctive. And that instinct makes it so that you're speaking to them in your thinking language, which you may or may not realize has now become English, even if it was Yoruba to start with. And so it almost requires a moment of pause, a moment of translation before you can then speak to your child in Yoruba. And because we're always in a hurry, go pick up your shoes, get your bag and all of that, we forget. We try to, we want to, but it doesn't come easy. So I always tell parents, you will forget. Accept that. But whenever you realize you have forgotten, from that moment, try again. Even if you forget for a month, after 1 month, you realize you've been speaking English. Try, and little by little, you will hone that habit of speaking Yoruba to your children. Àṣìṣe kẹrin, the fourth mistake is you do not reinforce. I've encountered this so many times teaching children Yoruba. We will learn something in class, the children are all excited about it. They go home, mommy and daddy don't follow, they don't follow up on it. So obviously they all drops down the line, and next week they come back and it's like you never taught them. So if you're using a teacher or a learning resource, follow up, track what they're learning, and require it of them. If they've learned greetings, then make sure that every morning they say a karoma, a karos, a karo baba, a karoma mama to you, beludo bale atikunle to bauni. So that way it becomes a part of the things. Building a muscle is practice that makes language learning possible. The fifth one is you lead with a lot of criticism as parents. Ashishe Kama, this is a grievous one. You have to make learning fun for children. You will see from my videos, which is why I put them up, I'm often correcting my children, but it very rarely comes across as criticism because I also bear in mind that the first thing is fun. The most important thing for any child is fun. If you're trying to teach a child and your teaching is laden with boring things, boring corrections, criticism, they will not learn. But if you make it fun, they will very, very quickly engage. And that's why you hear me singing to my children, teaching them random things, quizzing them, laughing. Language learning should be fun. I hope that these 5 tips will be helpful in your attempt to pass on Yoruba or any other indigenous African language to your child. Ẹ ṣeun tí ẹ gbọ́ mi o, màá tún máa rí yín bá. Ó dàbọ̀.